Dans toute la France, des terrains de camping ont été créés pour accueillir les 7 millions de campeurs qui passent leur week-end et leurs vacances sous la tente.
One day we're here, another we're elsewhere. It's never the same landscape.
It's freedom. We're free to go wherever we want. If we're fed up, if the weather is bad, we turn the key and go.
Hello and welcome to France in Focus. This week you'll need a ground sheet, a sleeping bag, a billy can and maybe some marshmallows as a treat because we are going camping. There are nearly 8,000 different campsites across the country and nearly 900,000 different spots to pitch a tent. And the love affair between the French and this form of cheap but very cheerful holiday goes way back.
Dès la belle saison, des maisons de toile s'élèvent un peu partout dans la campagne française.
In the 1930s, there was a camping boom in France, which set a standard for modern-day French holidays. Many benefited from the arrival of paid vacations, but not everyone had the same means to travel.
L'hôtel revient trop cher, surtout avec des enfants. Alors, si on n'a pas de grand-mère à Arcachon ou de cousin en province, il reste le camping.
In the 1950s, people were camping just about everywhere, by the sea or even the side of the road. With mass appeal, the pastime became more organized. Camping associations emerged, insisting on camping etiquette, something that was mocked at the time.
Pour être de parfaits campeurs, il ne suffit plus de posséder un short, de bonnes jambes et quelques bidons. Il faut désormais se plier au règlement et se munir d'une carte d'identité, d'une licence de camping, d'une police d'assurance contre l'incendie d'une valeur de 5 millions et d'un récépissé de... Est-ce que ça suffira, monsieur le garde champêtre?
There was an effort to limit so-called wild camping. Campsites multiplied, along with regulations.
Dans toute la France, des terrains de camping ont été créés pour accueillir les 7 millions de campeurs qui passent leur week-end et leurs vacances sous la tente.
Then came trailers, caravans, and motorhomes, bringing comfort to nature lovers who preferred a less rugged experience.
It's very simple. In the morning, we get up at 9 a.m. Then I wash the dishes, do the shopping, and make lunch at noon. There are just two of us, so it's not too intense.
So, what are you doing at the campsite all day?
Well, I do a few kilometers of biking, I go fishing, swimming, or just lazing around.
And the housework?
Once everything is cleared away, I clean the table. It's my wife who does the dishes, of course.
50 years later, gender roles and camping have both evolved a little further. Camping clubs became popular, providing entertainment and themed campsites. Farms opened up to campers looking for an authentic, rustic experience. And starting in the 2000s, camping became a year-round affair, along with the arrival of glamping, a glamorous way of experiencing nature.
As well as paying campsites here in France, it is possible to get off the beaten track and away from the madding crowds. This so-called wild camping lets you pitch your tent pretty much where you want. But while it isn't illegal, there are still certain rules that have to be followed.
Jeremy and Anaïs are braving the rain, looking for a place to set up their small tent in a regional park in the French Alps.
This is what it's all about. No matter what the weather, you have to have the right equipment. As much for the weather as for the temperatures.
Here, it's against the law to camp in a motorhome or trailer, but campers are allowed to pitch a small tent at dusk as long as it's taken down by dawn. For Jeremy and Anaïs, who live in Lyon, it's something they do whenever they get the chance.
You can't see this kind of landscape in a hotel. Here you're alone and free. You can disconnect from city life.
Dinner is prepared in just minutes with a small gas burner.
One of the rules is to leave the site exactly as you found it.
So the rules are followed. Officials patrol the park, making sure that campers don't disturb the natural environment.
Chaque fois qu'on va en montagne, on est toujours chez quelqu'un. Donc quand on pose sa
Here in the mountains, you're always in a place that belongs to someone or something.
des fois, ça
So when you pitch your tent, it's important to remember that.
15 tentes sur quelques centaines.
Sometimes there are too many campers in one area, and the animals have trouble finding places to
Les
go.
animaux, ils ont du mal à retrouver des places tranquilles en fait.
Although this kind of camping is permitted, there are certain places that are off limits, like pastures where sheep graze.
We see that there's a mark here. The grass is partially pushed down, so it looks like campers were not here last night, but probably a few days ago. So if you see this kind of thing all across the pasture, the shepherds won't be happy.
For their part, Jérémy and Anaïs spent the night far from the pastures and animals.
How was the night?
It was a little difficult with the rain, but we wake up to this in the morning and it's priceless. We're really very lucky.
For Jérémy and Anaïs, camping is just part of the experience. From here, they're running 35 kilometers along a mountain trail, the beginning of a new adventure.
Vive le bivouac! Vive le trail! But going camping, it doesn't necessarily mean battling in the wind to put up a tent and having no creature comforts at all. There's been a recent surge in the sale of camping cars like this one, with over 500,000 in circulation at the moment in France. They allow the owner to hit the open road and hit the sack in the very same space.
Crisscrossing France at your leisure, stopping when and where you please in your own sanitary bubble. RV travel is booming here in France, attracting people like Bernard, who just retired.
Compared to having a house, when we wake up, all we have to do is open the door. We don't have to mow the lawn. One day we're here, another we're elsewhere. It's never the same landscape.
The increasing popularity of the RV lifestyle has seen sales soar 25% in just the past year. At this dealership outside Paris, Stephanie just bought her very own for the first time.
Pour faire le lit sur la table, vous enlevez le coussin de l'assise.
For the buyer, it's an ideal pandemic purchase.
We have more freedom and more security. We don't have to wonder where we're going to eat or ask whether restaurants are open, whether hotels are open, whether the borders are open. That's what pushed me to buy it.
French manufacturers are benefiting from the boom. At this factory in the western region of Sarthe, more than 200 employees work the assembly line, building RVs and their interior furniture. The site produces roughly 10 vehicles per day. To keep up with the growing demand, the factory is open 7 days a week and hired some 30 new employees.
We're looking for carpenters, designers, plumbers, electricians, and also people who we can train according to our work methods.
French manufacturers hope consumer demand will continue to grow. So far, the country has registered some 500,000 RVs.
Well, with a turnover of 2.5 billion euros each year, camping is certainly big business in France, and perhaps even more so with the coronavirus pandemic keeping many people grounded on home soil. But if you're still not convinced, there's a whole community of influencers and bloggers online who do all they can to try and sell the dream, offer advice, and get you on board as well.
Whether from a desire for adventure or an escape from rising living costs, the nomadic campervan lifestyle has seduced a growing number of people over the last few years, with hashtags like van life blowing up on social media. And it's not just young singles or retirees. Jérémy and Charlotte moved their family into a van in 2017.
We were working like crazy 6 days a week, and we said to ourselves, we need a change. We already liked doing campervan trips. We had a couple of fitted vans, so we thought, let's free ourselves from all the pressure that came from living in a house.
Even with 4 children, they haven't looked back.
It's the freedom, really. We're free to go wherever we want. To put the key in the ignition and just go. We also get to raise our children in our way. We're teaching them
the things that are important to us.
Look at these Americans. rubbing in front of us, slowing us down.
It was the desire to spend more time as a family that prompted Dan and Marlene to hit the road.
We started dropping off our oldest at daycare, and it just didn't feel right to us for somebody else to spend so much time with her, and we were missing things. And I think something changed inside of us.
So this is our main kitchen area.
They started travelling in 2008, quickly deciding to turn what was a 3-month getaway into an indefinitely extended trip. Ava, Mila and Luca have grown up in a van.
This is Ava's, this is Mila's, this is mine.
They've been homeschooled as they've travelled across North America and then most of Europe. Dan's flexible work arrangement made it doable. Over the years, they've also lived off income from a rental property. That was before social media started changing the game. It offered the Lin family a few paid partnerships, but other advantages too.
The fun part about that was how many people we met through it. You know, people would say, hey, we're not too far from you. Let's meet up at this place.
The hype hasn't been all good though, as the uninitiated jump on the van life bandwagon.
Some of them are the ones that are promoting this lifestyle, but at the same time, some of these people are the ones who are also ruining it. When we first started, it was a challenge to go down a dirt road and trying to find some open, free, wild camping space. Nowadays, people just go on social media and they do a quick search, and it's almost like it's like a cheat code.
A way of life that may not be for everyone, but even after 13 years on the road, the Lin family wouldn't have it any other way.
Well, that brings us to the end of this special camping edition of France in Focus. Thank you very much for watching, and thanks of course to my lovely French colleague Nabia who helped me put up this tent. Do stay with us here on France 24, and wherever you're going this summer, have a very happy holiday.